Buenos tardes, amazing afternoon. This is Big Buddha back again with a new episode for the Blacks in Cybersecurity podcast. And here we have an astounding guest, Tiana Newton White. She's a tech wizard. She's at Palo Alto doing like great things. So we're just going to be asking her a bit more about her experience and so far in tech and cyber as well. And yeah, so Tiana, you could give a like intro for your like yourself as well.
Yes, okay, nice. Okay, my name is Tiana. I've been in tech a little over 6 years now. As you stated, I am at Palo Alto Networks doing cloud security work. And now with our new transformation, we actually have a lot of cloud security and security operations going on. My background is in cloud security and security operations as well. Prior to Palo Alto, I was at Accenture doing a lot of their SIM and SOAR work, working with a lot of Splunk, a lot of Google Chronicle, and then doing a lot of DevOps work there as well. And then a little bit of government contracting prior to that. That was actually how I got my start into tech. I started in GovTech and then pivoted from there.
Well, yeah, and all of that is super fascinating towards me. And it's the first thing I want to ask you about is this whole GovTech thing because I actually I was on a webinar last week with the GovTech lady Simon Bees and also the Yellowtail Tech people, and they were kind of speaking about Linux stuff, but also these clearances as well, like these government clearances, and it's very interesting to me because I work with a company that does technology consulting for government agencies like TSA and all that, right? So I'm kind of like I'm not in the government, but I'm like associate of an associate that works with the government, right? So in my future, I'm thinking like, should I like if the clearance people do come to me like, hey, we want you to work for us, we want to sponsor you this clearance. I wonder like if I should take it or not because I've heard like, of course, you could get a lot of money, but then again, they're gonna kind of be investigating your entire existence pretty much. But I'd like to hear your experience with it and was it worthwhile for you and like who would you recommend it to and who would you not recommend it to?
Okay. Well, I got my clearance originally from the military. I was in the army for 4 years, and so that it kind of came with
Mm,
it. But even for someone who's not prior military, I would definitely suggest you do
mm,
it, unless of course, you're worried about something in your background popping up. Whatever it is, they will find it. Especially if you're going for one of the higher clearances, like the higher it
mm,
is, the more evasive they are, the more detail that they are going into your
mm,
background. But I would definitely recommend it. I still have mine, although I'm not using it.
mm,
But it's a huge help. When I started out in tech, there, well, it was a little different. Now it's a lot harder to get in. But when I started years ago, it was like if you have this clearance and you have the right certifications, it was easier to get in. They were more willing to help you or teach you on the job as long as you came with the understanding of what you were
mm.
getting into. But it's a little different, nowadays, of course. But I would still recommend it. It takes you a long way. There's so many jobs that are open because people don't have the clearance for it, and so the job sits open for long periods of time. I would recommend roles with clearances to any and everyone.
Okay. Yeah, you're really like selling me on that. You're really selling me on it because I'm realizing like it's like certifications, it's college, self-taught, and also clearances. Like clearances is the new one I'm throwing in like the batch, and I'm trying to have a good balance between them all. But yeah, so I'm more like open to it. I'm definitely gonna like research it a lot more, and I would love to hear more about your experience with Palo Alto because I think it's Shaniqua. Is it Shaniqua Burks? Do you know where? Yeah, she's
Yes.
like also is in Blacks and Cyber, and she be selling Palo. She be trying to get everyone to Palo. She's like, come to Palo. It's amazing, come to Palo, right? So I would love to hear how was your experience getting into it, and like how has been your experience getting into it, and like so far you been like in it for a while now. How is your experience now over there?
My experience has been amazing. It's been like drinking from a fire hose, of course. Every time you transition to a new role, it's kind of the same kind of workflow, same kind of flow you're gonna go through. You're gonna be learning the new company, the way that they operate on their day to day, and it's been
Mm,
good. We're going through a lot of changes on, internally, so it's been a lot to adjust, and I've just been, rolling with the
mm.
punches. Um, I Let me see, what was the first part you asked me?
How how was your experience getting into Palo Alto, and how is your experience
Mhm.
now? Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. Getting into Palo, it was a pretty lengthy process. I believe I did about maybe 4 to 5 interviews. The first one was with the recruiter, and then I interviewed with about maybe 3 members from the team, and then I had to do an actual technical demo where I, demoed a solution.
Wow. Yeah. So for interview, well, I know with like these bigger companies, that's kind of like commonplace now. Because I remember when I got my internship, I did. Well, first a lady called me and said, "Hey, we're thinking about you for a position," and then after that, I had one more phone call with her, and my last one, I believe, I had two of their people interviewing me at the same time, and it was interesting because I was kind of in like the hot seat pretty much, and I realized people have to be careful what they say because everything I like spoke about or was on my resume, they kind of doubled down and just made sure like I was actually about it. Like example, I was speaking about Vim and like Linux a lot, and then they started to ask me about the Vim like keyboard shortcuts and all of that stuff. So I'll definitely recommend just be truthful, Just be like if you know something, just be confident in it. And if you don't know it, be confident enough to say, I don't know, but I can learn and come back to you with that. And I was looking at your LinkedIn just now and the cloud stuff. The cloud stuff is actually quite interesting to me because everyone and their grandma is on the cloud. Honestly, everyone and their grandma is on the cloud now. And it's interesting because I was studying for my AWS cloud practitioner, which is kind of like the entry level for the AWS side. But what cloud platform are you on, and what like certifications do you have, or how did you go about learning the cloud? Because now it's interesting because I heard people speaking about the cloud like years ago, and it's like as the years go on, more and more people are speaking about it. But what got you interested in the cloud at first, and how did you like learn?
Yeah, so I heard about the cloud years ago, maybe about 5 years ago. I took this course where I was doing a Security Plus and an A Plus kind of certification. And he pretty much, the instructor told us, like, this is the next big thing. If you are looking for something that's going to be around long term, something like industry proof, cloud is where you want to be. And the second thing he also spoke a lot about was a tool called Splunk and, security operations. And I took those two things and I ran with it. And I actually ended up merging them together. But he was the one who told me about cloud. And from there, I started out with Splunk, but then realized that a lot of customers were starting to use Splunk within their cloud environments. And AWS, of course, was the largest player for a long time. So I started out with AWS, and then I made my way to Azure and then to GCP. Once you get into one cloud, you realize that they all have the same thing, really. It's just they're called different things, and they may have different caveats or slightly different, nuances between the different cloud providers, but it's all the same concepts. And over the years, I've been able to, go from one to the other.
Got it. No, that is like beautiful because yeah, as you're saying, it's like something that's kind of it's gonna be more and more D like man as the years go on. And yeah, AWS, I still believe it's the biggest cloud because that is the one I'm like learning currently. And you pivoted into it, I believe like what is it again? GC Google Cloud
Hmm.
GCP and the Azure, yeah, Azure. So I'm a Linux like fiend, right? I'm a, like Linux is my love, right? So I would love
We have
to,
to talk about that after this call.
yeah, that's what I
We
say.
have to talk
Um,
about that.
but I wanted to. So I was like, I remember when I was first learning, well, when I was first studying for the cloud practitioner, it had me making like different EC2 Elastic like storage stuff, right? And I was surprised because it said Amazon Linux, and when I first heard about it, it almost sounded a bit oxymoronic because Linux is very kind of like, well, at least the people who use it for personal use is a lot more open source and free. And then hearing that with Amazon, it kind of sounded like water and oil. I'm like, what do you mean
Yeah.
Amazon? It doesn't even sound right. But then it's like actually a thing because I realized a lot of the cloud stuff they're kind of built on Linux like servers. So in your experience with
Very
the cloud servers that you are making or deploying, like what systems or operating systems do you usually use? Because I know like Linux is big, but is there like a specific platform you use when you're making these servers and instances?
Mostly Ubuntu and Red Hat. And you're making a good point about Linux. If you're going to be in cloud, really tech in general, you need Linux. You're going to need it at some point. But if you're doing cloud, you definitely need it. Like
Yeah,
you need it. It's your bread and butter. And
yeah,
if you're good at it, you can really, make some good money,
yeah.
be very marketable in the market because a lot of people avoid it. They don't want to touch it too much if they don't
Mm.
have to, but it's a good skill to have.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I be telling people this. I feel like I be telling people this, but they don't be hearing me because they're just so scared of the command line interface. I don't know what it is. We gotten so comfortable with the GUI, but even like that's not even an excuse because Linux has the GUI too. So like
Yeah,
that's the user interface as well. But I definitely recommend it towards everyone because especially as I've gotten new roles in tech as well, I've seen so there's your title and there's what you actually do. And I realized sometimes there's a drastic gap in that, right? And I thought when I heard of tech, I'm thinking, oh, everyone is programming, everyone is in the terminal. But it's after I get more of these tech roles, I'm like, that's really not the case. Like example, I was with this other organization. They were grooming me to be a SOC analyst, right? And it was literally basically like copy from this, paste in this browser, copy from this, paste here. It's a fancy copying and pasting from the little bit I experienced, right? And that's fine, right? Because you're looking at the tools, you're looking at the IP and the domain and the hash and the file name. That's cool, but that's not what I've used Linux for years, and I'm just more used to a command line interface, keyboard centric workflow, and that's why now I'm gradually pivoting like towards there because I was using Linux for personal use, right? And it's only now I'm realizing, oh, people get paid off of this
pay
stuff.
for
People
Linux.
get paid, and I'm
Yes.
like, I got to
Well,
be smart because if I'm doing this stuff for fun and they are getting paid, I got to be smart. And even what was it? Yeah, yes. Yesterday I'm taking this Red Hat Linux training, and like most of the stuff I knew, but he was also showing me a whole new slew of collect mans that I never used as well. So you basically had to log into the Red Hat Linux server over like SSH, and he's teaching all these different commands. But that stuff is so exciting to me. So yeah, Linux is definitely one of my loves, and I would recommend it as well. But besides the cloud stuff, what was your initial before like Palo, before cloud, before AWS? What was your initial like entry into the tech industry or your initial interest?
it was help desk for me. When I first came into tech, which is another reason why I joined the Blacks in Cyber, the mentor program, and I had a mentee. I wanted to give back and help and give information I didn't have. When I came into tech, I was just trying to find a way in, and I saw that help desk was entry level. That's where most people start, and so that's where I started. I didn't really know that there were other options, so I started there. I started off with my A plus certification, and then I got the Security Plus. And my first role was actually at the Pentagon because I had my security clearance. It was just it
There we
just all
go.
worked out. I got an offer that was at another military base for the A plus certification, but after I put my resume out there, I got another phone call and they said, "Well, if you get the Security Plus, we'll hire you." And so that's what I did.
Wow.
I got the Security Plus and I went to the Pentagon instead. And so that was where I got my start. And I was really influenced by all of the different teams. There was a heavy cyber presence there between the security admins, the security analysts. You had your system admin, you had your network engineers. It was really a good mix of all of the different verticals, and that kind of shaped my beginning as well, just by observing. Because I didn't really have a mentor in the beginning, so I was just trying to put all the pieces together and just observe and ask questions. It
Mhm.
was very important for me in the beginning to ask questions and not be afraid, just be a sponge and soak it all up.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. From help desk to the Pentagon. That could really be the title of this episode, honestly. But that is beautiful. And as you said, being open to learning and being in a space where you can speak to all of the different teams and verticals. So at least being aware of what they do. And like, yeah, from what my understanding, I feel like help desk and internships are like the easiest way to like get in. Even if you could get like an internship or I hope that's definitely like the easiest way to get in 1,000%. And
Yeah, never be
this
too
is
good for help desk. I always tell people, don't be too good. There's nothing wrong with starting there.
right, exactly. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I feel like, especially now, people always want like, I feel like this is just a thing, even outside of tech. I feel like the way that social media and like just content works, people always want the fanciest, most luxurious. They want to be in like, they want to be on their laptop in the Lamborghini. Like they want to
Start
be,
here. They want to start at the top.
yeah. And like it really it takes like patience, even for me, because I'm kind of still in like the very entry part of my career. Even though I've been studying this stuff like for myself for years, I didn't realize, especially with the Linux stuff, I was doing it for fun. It's only now I'm realizing, oh, like that's why I got to get my Red Hat certs and all of these other Linux certs. And I'm realizing, oh, like this is how. So I know what I know, and I could show anyone what I know, right? But a certification is just a bit quicker for hiring people to understand, like, oh, he got this certification, he clearly knows this. So that's important as well. And that's also something I wanted to ask you. What you said? I know you said you got your A plus
Mhm.
and your Sec plus that helped you get into like the Pentagon. But besides that, what other certs do you feel like really like changed the game for you?
Splunk. Once I got the Splunk,
Uh,
the phone calls, even to this day, it's never
wow.
ending phone calls. That's another thing. Splunk requires a lot of Linux skills. A lot of people run from Linux. And
Mhm.
then I think as a result, they kind of end up running from tools like Splunk because
Wow.
Splunk is easy on the surface, but it's a very, you know, intricate tool once you dig a
Mm.
bit deeper into it. But it's
Wow.
definitely worth it.
Yeah.
That
So
was,
tell us.
mhm.
Yeah, tell us a bit more about Splunk and how does it work? Because it's a seam, right? Or it's like something else. It's a
It
seam.
is. It's a scene. Hmm.
Yeah. So tell us a bit more what a seam is, and tell us a bit more just what Splunk is, because I've heard of it, but I haven't like used it myself yet. So yeah, just like let us know a bit more about it and like how does it work and function.
Yeah. So, like, for example, at the government, on my government contracting job,
Hmm.
my company used Splunk to ingest data. So all of their logs from all of their systems. It could be from their cloud environments. It could be
Hmm.
from their firewalls. The sim is to ingest all of that data from their environment and then analyze it.
Hmm.
They can search that data. So if they want to understand different metrics in their environment, they can search that data.
Hmm. Wow. And like the seam is, I believe, is security incident and event management.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Oh, the
yeah.
acronyms kill me.
Yo, there's so yeah. If there's one thing in cyber, especially, there's 1,000 and one acronyms.
Yes.
He's like literally ridiculous. But yeah, I definitely have heard of it because I used Q Radar before, and I believe that that's like kind of like in the same area. But I haven't. I think Splunk is the most one of the most popular ones. So basically, curates all of the company's kind of data into like one central hub, basically, right?
Exactly. It's all about data, analyzing data.
Yeah. So that is beautiful. And how has been your educational experience as well? Like where did you go to a traditional college or did you go to like a boot camp or were you just like doing self-taught? Like what really got you in?
You know what? So I did 2.5 years of college. That was before the military.
Okay.
And then I got into help desk with just the certifications. I didn't even need my degree. Until this
Mm,
day, I haven't finished my full degree yet. Although, I like to at least do my bachelor's, maybe a
yeah.
master's. But I didn't need it to get to where I am right now.
Right.
I got the certifications. Yeah, that's really pretty much it. I
Certification.
just built on certifications over time, and
Mm,
then you'll notice once you build up a um, certain foundation for yourself and build your
mm,
knowledge,
mm,
it's more of like a skill thing because you'll notice a lot of college graduates may have like maybe book knowledge but not the actual hands-on knowledge
mm.
or experience. And so a lot of companies don't really discriminate if you don't have the degree because you have the actual hands-on
Yeah.
knowledge
Yeah.
versus maybe some college students who may not have the actual hands-on. Some
Mm,
schools are better than others. Some schools may, try to, they're getting better with it. I'll say that. They're getting better with trying to prepare the students. But,
mm,
traditionally it's always been more so just a theory thing or just a book thing.
mm.
So
Wow.
me not having a degree did not prevent me from getting into tech at all.
Wow. Yeah.
I it has affected some companies. For
Mm,
example, I applied to work at Deloitte before.
mm,
Now they have different roles or different caveats. Like, okay, we may take you without a degree, but we may pay you at a lower rate, a lower pay scale. Or like certain government roles require a degree and you won't be able to work there without a degree. So it really depends on what you want. I
mm.
won't say that you just flat out don't need a degree. It really depends on what you want, and
Yes.
yeah.
No, I definitely agree on 1,000% because I come from a self-taught space. Like pretty much like majority of what I knew, especially about Linux, I was just in my room like, oh, this looks cool. Oh, this is like
Oh,
a oh,
I forgot to answer the other part of the question. I'll wait for you to finish though.
oh, like I was asking about yeah, like what self-taught college certification and what was your like route pretty much. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
I would pretty much mostly self-taught as well, but during COVID, because I'm prior military, there was a program called Vet Tech that was
Mm.
offering boot camps to veterans
Oh,
at no cost to you. So I
wow.
did take a boot camp for Python software development because I
Sweet.
realized everything is scripting, is coding, is Linux. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't even try to fight it. I just tried
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
embrace it early on. So I did take a Python software development boot camp, and I did take a penetration testing boot camp. So
Sweet.
I kind of hopped around a little bit, but I was trying to make myself well rounded
Right.
for
Right.
my future roles.
Yeah.
That was all. I forgot to say
You
that.
know, that is definitely beautiful because I feel like I'm in a similar state now where I'm just trying to make myself well rounded. Because majority of my journey was like self taught in my room, just like, oh, this is cool, just like doing that alone, right? And it's only in September 2024, which is like last year in November, I started with this organization, CyberNet Labs, and that's when I actually started to be with organizations and boot camps and networks and workshops and nonprofit. Like that's when I actually started to be around other people who were doing it on like a consistent basis, and it really changed the entire game for me, right? Of course, I'm always preferential to the self-taught path because I feel like not to say people waste time, but I feel like a lot of times you could just really sit down, buy a book from Amazon, go on a YouTube video, sit in your room for a weekend, and learn a lot. You can learn a lot, right? But the beautiful part about boot camp or even sometimes college is you have a network of people you can share with. Because me studying the Linux stuff alone, I thought it was cool, but now I'm around a group of people who think it's cool as well, and they want to learn more and reinforce it. Even for my job, they want me to make a Linux kind of little intro PowerPoint thing because they see how like serious I am about it. You know, even in the other organization, like I speak about it so often that now people are kind of I'm not to say I'm the subject matter expert, but if someone needs to learn a little Linux, I can tell them a little something. So being well rounded is definitely something um think about. Yeah, being well rounded because there's a lot of different paths into tech. But I'm also glad you said because this is a really important part. You won't just say flat out that people don't need a degree because it depends on what path you're on, and that's because before college it was like I'm like college is dumb. Like why am I going to spend like
All
40,
the
80, 60 like K to be in debt for what? Like for what? Like to me it was dumb. But now there's this new well it's not new. There's a college called WGU and it's online and it's self-paced, right? So there's new types of colleges being like formed now. And just wanted to be well rounded. I don't give like blanket advice like that anymore. Just say like, oh, you never need a degree to get into tech, or you never need a cert, or you only like I don't because I'm like you have to specialize it towards what does the person want and where are they going. I always use the example. Say I'm in Florida now. If I want to go to California, I'm gonna say, hey, let's get a car, a train, a bus, right? But if I'm going to Kenya, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say let's get on the airplane. You know, you need a different vehicle depending upon where you want to go. And that flows well into my next question. Where do you see yourself going in the future? Because now you're with like Palo, you're doing amazing cloud stuff, you're knocking stuff out, right? But where do you see yourself like 5 years from now? Do you see yourself still being in Palo and getting into like a senior role and like leading a team, or going more just towards like the manager side and not as like technical, or starting your own gig on the side? Where do you see yourself in the future? What is your goal or aspiration?
Well, I can definitely still see myself possibly at Palo, but
Sweet.
also I would love to do something of my own. I'm actually in the process of trying to get something together, actually teaching Linux. So I really want to talk to
Let's
you about that,
go. Let's go.
specifically the RHCSA. So we could talk about that after.
Okay.
That's something I'm kind of building in the background,
Solid.
that I don't even have to wait 5 years to do, but I would like to scale that up, in the next 5 years. I would like
Hmm.
to have scaled it up,
Yeah.
from where I am now, trying to start it out.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's kind of all I know so far. I'm not too sure yet.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know if
that's
I would be at a different company. I love Palo so far, so
yeah.
yeah, I could see myself still being here and then still
Well,
doing some side stuff.
well, and well, first, like, shout out to Paolo because there has to be something in the water over there to make you and Shaniqua, right? Like to make you and her love it so much. Because I think I asked her a similar question. She's like, "I'm Paolo." She's like, "I'm Paolo, my guy." She's like, "This is my spot. Like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm Paolo for life." And I'm like, "Oh wow!" Like it's beautiful because I feel like usually with jobs we hear people, man, I don't like my job. It's so like they're so like sad, right? But to see people who actually like, no, this is actually a good place. Like I actually feel very good here is a beautiful thing. And with the Linux part, I feel like you pretty much have a very similar goal to me because now like I'm getting like it's so funny the way I think because like I'm getting into tech and I'm already thinking about my pivot out. Like I'm already thinking about how am I going to speak this working over. Like literally, I'm already thinking about this. And shout out to Yellowtail Tech because I was watching their podcast. I was on like their webinar, and actually I was on a call with one of their enrollment people, right? Because I was even studying like Red Hat over the weekend, like how like Red Hat started, how Linux started, how these other things started, and it's very fascinating because if I no, when I make a business, making a Linux like educational thing is like the best route I can see myself going. But I see me going more so the YouTube route and making the YouTube kind of like a brand, right? Where I'm just teaching this stuff. But like I feel like I should. This is everything I would recommend people in tech. I've been basically growing into different areas, right? But it's almost like me looking at all these new fancy things. I forgot I already had my own strengths. Like I didn't even realize Linux was a strength until I'm in these workspaces and people don't
Yeah.
know the basic commands. I'm like, I thought everyone knew this. I thought this was tech. Like what do we like? I thought that's what it was. So it's very beautiful to have this like that higher vision of also giving back. Even going back earlier when you're saying you wanted to give back for the stuff you didn't know at the start. It's kind of the same thing when you once you build a business and an organization, you're kind of giving back in like a beautiful way. And that's really even beyond tech, even beyond money, just impacting people and changing people's lives is literally like one of the best feelings. Like it's like a beautiful um thing. And I would love to veer off like a little bit. But I want to hear more about because clearly you're super deep into tech and you're going to do great things. But on your personal time, like who is Tiana outside of tech? Because I feel like that's really important. I feel like that's something that I have because a lot of the value I have and I've earned, it's been outside of here. Like a lot of it's just been like in my room, meditating, journaling, praying. It's been like exploring, traveling. It's been like by myself that I've kind of built up. And I was reading the 5 a.m. Club. It's this book about like waking up early and being like motivated. And it was like your professional. No, I think it's Jim Rohn actually. Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins, one of those self motivating people. It said your professional development is like really based upon your self development. If like your self development is down here, your professional development will not be up here. But if your self development is here, your professional development could like come up to reach it. So I'd love to hear more about what you do in your free time to just keep yourself grounded or inspired or yeah, any of that.
I like to travel a lot. Oftentimes, being in tech, for me, well, yeah, anyone in tech, you sit at the computer all day. You're just sitting here. And I actually still have a bad habit of spending time after work on the computer. So I
Yeah.
do spend a lot of time on the computer doing personal projects, maybe just doing research, just it's a rabbit hole. Every time you look at something, something else pops up, and then you got to look at that. So I spend a lot of time on a computer, but I try to travel to balance it out because you need that time away from the screen, time
Mm-hmm.
to yourself, time to kind of just decompress without any notifications, without any screens. I've been trying to make a habit of at least going to the spa once a month now, and I roller skate. So that's
Oh,
it's
yeah,
good
that's lit.
exercise and it's fun. Hmm.
No, that's like definitely beautiful. It's a funny story. My friend actually took me to the roller skating space. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, right? And
Oh,
it was my friend's friend's daughter's birthday, right? So we were there just kind of celebrating their birthday, and then I wanted to like roller skate with the kids and everyone else, and I literally put the roller skates on. I literally stepped on it like 2 3 times, and I'm like, nah, we're not doing this because I'm like I know for a fact if I go out it's gonna be a wrap because I would need someone there to like help me. And even the last time I roller skated, I was in high school, right? And I literally went out and I literally fell like right down on like my head, like straight.
oh my
And ever
god.
since then, I never roller skated after that. But
So
no, it's
hard.
really fun. I definitely I definitely want to learn. And with traveling is big as well. And it's going to become bigger for me because I was actually living in Ecuador all last year, me and my like girl, and it was like a beautiful experience. But it kind of was slowing down my tech career because we were having like blackouts here and there. So that's kind of what made me come back to the states. But traveling, it really shows you a different world. Even yo like hablo español, yo necesito aprender más. So like I'm even picking up like languages. It's a whole different world over there. So I definitely would recommend that to everyone in tech, especially once you're in tech and once you get to like a senior or higher level, you have a bit more like money, so you can kind of just travel a bit more easily as well. And I would like to ask you about that experience as well, because of course we love tech, but also I love money, right? I love money, right? And that's also other reason this is very motivated me to get into tech because I need a better life for me and my like loved ones and like my family. So I feel like tech is, when rappers be like, oh, like rapping got me out of the hood. I feel like tech is gonna get me out of the hood. Like that is how I feel. So I'd love to hear what's been the biggest like difference from you just like starting off in tech, probably making like a little bit of money, and like you now going to like Palo? Because I'm not like even going to ask on my Palo again because Palo I just know is like good. But what has been the biggest like thing you've learned or the biggest shift in your line as your like finances has grown and as your like work has grown?
And the biggest thing I would say, I mean, I'll start with the most important one. Live below your means. I'm not even going to say within. Live below. It's funny when I first started in tech, I just had this horrible shopping problem. I would buy stuff I didn't even need, just wasting money. But once I got that under control early on, I've never had that problem again. Now I'm like a penny pincher. I try not to even spend money if I don't have to. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I still enjoy it, like with traveling. I
Mm-hmm.
try to still spend wisely though, like booking trips early instead of, last minute because it'll be more expensive or just like name brand stuff. I'm not a big name brand person. I feel like it's kind of a waste. You can get something that's just as nice without the name.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, just being smart with your money. I even invest some money in stocks. Just, it's money that I'm not using. I might as well put it somewhere where it can grow for me for my future. Let's see what else. It's definitely been a huge difference in my life. The money difference from even before tech to me starting to where I am now, it's been a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's life changing. For
Wow.
sure.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like beautiful, and this is like a thing I've kind of trying to been not even trying to explain because even people who are in tech, they always say like, well, yeah, tech they be making money in it. Because I remember one time I was with my friends, and one of my friends, she's a data scientist. She is actually the woman who kind of inspired me to get into tech. So we drop off at the like parade. And usually people like stay in the line, and then she's going straight in like first class. My friends are like, how is she doing this? I'm like, it's tech, bro. Like, I've been trying to tell you it's tech. Y'all think I'm lying, but it definitely does open up a lot of doors. But definitely, it's even more so important to be smarter with money, right? Because you'd be making millions and still like financially crippled in a sense, right? So it's important to
Yeah.
just even regardless of how much money you're making, it's important to save for like a rainy day because you really never know what life is going to throw at you. Like you
Mhm.
never know what life is going to throw at you. So that's definitely
You can
super
still enjoy
super.
it. Like some people
Yeah.
think, oh, I want to enjoy it. You can enjoy it, but
Mm.
just do it smartly. Like don't go buy a super expensive car. Like I
Yeah.
bought a new car, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't go too expensive.
Right.
Like I
Right.
be reasonable,
Be
because
reasonable.
expensive.
Yeah,
You I always say don't spend to the last dime in your paycheck. Your whole paycheck
exactly.
should be gone when you get
Right,
paid.
right, right, right. Yeah,
So
but that's serious. I mean, I think that this is something even outside of tech that's even more so pertinent to me is the business, financial literacy, entrepreneurship. Because I feel like and I feel like tech is a perfect pivot. Is a perfect pivot because even outside of money, even with the few tech roles I have now, the level of autonomy I've gotten with like these very like simple jobs, right, is more than all of the other jobs I had before combined. Like the
mhm.
level of autonomy it gives you and this freedom it gives you, like you can literally like clock in and out of work, and then right after that, you just switch to your business because you're on your like laptop. You can hop on a meeting for your work. You can meet like an investor for your work. You can meet a client, like anything, right? So this is a very seamless thing. Plus, if you know how to program as well, that brings things to a whole other level because you can
Well,
literally make entire like app or a site from scratch. So it's definitely beautiful. And the next question. We were speaking about this earlier, but fashion and style. Because I came on and he was styling. And like, it is funny because I was telling her, usually in meetings, I'm like, we're like one of the only people with like suits on. And then she was like, she sometimes feel like overdressed, but like it's always worth it in a sense. I was saying how it's kind of opened up doors for like me, like a lot. Like I've really gotten jobs because of how I'm dressed. I've really like older men open doors for me and call me sir. Like women talk to me like all the time, like even more so, right? So it opens up a lot. But I would love to hear your like experience being in because I'm not. I think Palo. I'm not. I haven't been at Palo, but I'm thinking they're probably more lax, or they're probably more like corporate. I'm not sure. But from your personal experience, how has like dressing and the fashion and just like how you show up affected your growth and your work and your career?
that's a good question. So I would say even like just straight out of high school, this has been me ever since I came out of high school because we've always been taught you're supposed to dress a certain way, dress the part. You're trying to get a job, you have to dress the part.
Yes.
And I think I don't know. People get so caught up in it, and they're like, "Oh, I feel like this is too much." It's not. It's never too much. Just like you, I've had a similar experience. I have gotten roles just because I came dressed looking the part. They're like, "Oh my God, you're the only one who came in here today looking like you wanted this job." It's like even to this day, uh, it's the same thing. Luckily, within Palo, it is a bit more lax, but it also depends on what you're doing. If we're at a conference, we're going to have maybe company apparel on, maybe some jeans, business casual. But if you're with the customer, then you're probably going to be a little bit more dressed up. But either way, I still come the same way. Just, I don't know. I still haven't been able to relax all the way at Palo, but it definitely, read the room for sure.
Indeed. Indeed.
It
No,
goes a long way.
it definitely does go a long way. And it's funny because it's like I don't even at my job, I don't really need to dress this way, but it's like I show up for me. I don't give a heck. Like everyone else could like have their cameras off, not
Mhm.
be speaking. I'm always trying to be like I'm always camera on, always asking questions, always present. Because I feel like people really under like literally the job I have now is because on paper like I'm not it, right, but in terms of like actual energy and how you show up, I'm telling people like keep your camera on, ask questions, be present, be like sharp. Because it really, even if we're in a Zoom meeting, people could feel your energy, right? And a part of your energy is how you speak, how you show up, how you dress. So it could really change someone's not only someone's entire day, it could change your entire business. Honestly, if you show up like happy, smiling, like hey, how was your day? This being generous and nice. These are like even outside of tech, this human principles that will take you super far, super far. But yeah, I definitely recommend people just show up the best that they can, always, you know. And there's another question I had. What do you think was the all right? I don't so mistakes. I don't really believe in mistakes because I feel like we learn from everything, right? But what do you think was one of the biggest hurdles for you to overcome in your tech journey? And what did you do to like overcome it?
Okay, one of the biggest hurdles. Mm, imposter syndrome.
Wow. Okay. Super.
I would say that was one of my biggest hurdles, and the way I've been trying to combat it is just putting myself out there. Like don't, not holding back, because there's a lot of opportunities I've missed because I've held back. I didn't, put myself out there, or I just didn't take up the opportunity. And so that's something I've been really aware in trying to always make sure I'm putting my best foot forward no matter what. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's something else I've learned. Don't be afraid. The quicker you make the mistake, the quicker you can uh, recover, fix it, and do differently next time. And being open to criticism is always good as well.
Mm,
The more that you receive that criticism, you're able to get feedback on what you're doing wrong, what could be done better next time, and you can have the opportunity to change it. But if you don't hear that, you won't know.
mm. Wow. Yeah, and that's deep because I feel like, especially because I don't even I think the other industries may have this, but ever since I've been in tech, I've been hearing about imposter syndrome like all the time, all the time. And it's something that, as you said, there's ways to alleviate it, And as you said, being open to criticism, not only for ourselves, but in the future, once you have businesses, criticism towards like a customer is like really one of the best things for your company because you could literally see what does this person need and how could I serve them better. But even in our personal lives, it's the same thing. If you get even outside of tech, even if your husband, son, daughter, whoever, right? They're like, mom or husband, like, I don't like this, right? Well, babies are wild, so babies be saying anything, but you can still take it, right? You can still take their criticism, like, is this true or whatever? Like, are they saying, can I change this or can I be better? Because I feel like sometimes people are so like, for lack of better words, it's hard. Like I'm this and I'm this, and especially once I feel like they get a lot of status and like title and ego. It's like you
Yes.
sometimes you can't tell people like anything, and I'm not really for that. Really, I'm more
Mhm.
so just being like I'm always a student. I'm always like I can like literally really I'm gonna get my like RH or like RHCSA. I'm gonna get all these other Linux certs. I'm gonna be Linux system admin, right? If someone comes to me and saying, "Hey, you were doing that Linux command wrong," I'm like, "Oh, really? How? Show me how." Like I'm like I don't know. I've been probably doing it wrong. Like honestly, because especially with Linux, there's literally other ways to do things. Like there's
So
multiple
many
ways to
different
like do
ways,
things.
different
So
flags.
yeah.
It's a lot.
Right. Yeah. So definitely just being open to people's criticism. And one thing that's helped me on that journey is with Diversity Cyber Council and Cyber Labs is this teaching, right? This teaching other people to me because it's been so it's been glorious, honestly. Like one of the best moments of my year. I remember I was in this cohort a couple weeks ago, and every week we do testimonials, and just seeing my team grow, adapt, and evolve. I felt like a proud parent. I think I had a glimpse to how parents feel. When you're like teaching someone and they're growing in front of your face, and you're like, whoa, like you really like at first you like didn't even know what this was, and now you're just swinging it. You're getting all the quizzes right. You're doing everything right. So it's beautiful to share and realize. And tech is like a thing you can't learn it all. Like that's the thing because
So,
just the nature of the like industry, you can't learn it all. It's not possible to like learn it all. So just realizing that as well. Like earlier, you were saying it was like being at Palo was like drinking from a fire hose, right? And
mhm.
just in tech and like general can be like that.
It's
It's just like
fireworks.
it's endless. Like you would think after a certain point, like, oh, like I know this programming language, or I got the certifications, or I got this like command. It's like no, like
It's
there's more.
always
Like
changing.
there's more. Like there's
Yeah,
always
every time.
every time, every time. But no, like that is serious, yeah. Because a lot of people they speak about the imposter syndrome stuff a lot, but I feel like the more we give, the more we share, the more like we ask, the more humble we are. I feel like it's an easy way to grow grow beyond that. I'm gonna ask you this next question is not a question because a lot of the questions are just like stuff I'm generally like interested in. This next question is a question I know people watching this will want to hear. But what are your views on AI?
It's a love and hate thing. I love it.
Mm,
It's changing a lot for the better, but it's also doing the opposite. I was actually talking about this the other day. I really love AI to the point of Terminator. Like I like AI, need some kind of, some kind of guidelines with this. We need some kind of rules. Getting a little out of hand. Well, I love that, for example, it's making our everyday workflows better. People who want to start businesses, they're able to create websites, for example, with vibe code, and you can create a whole application for your business. It's a lot easier
Mm,
for people who don't have technical experience to either get into tech or to optimize their business or just their everyday tasks. So I like it, but I
mm.
feel like, it can be scary too.
Yeah, it's definitely. I feel like it's both polarities are there because I've seen them been used for really cool stuff, and I've seen them being used for really bad stuff. But I feel like it's similar to like I always use the example: water could quench your thirst, or it could drown you. Right? Fire could keep you warm, or it could burn you. Right? So it's all contextual. It's about your consciousness. I think to like me at least, I feel like it's about your consciousness and your righteousness, right? Because I feel like a lot of people will use it for devious things, but then if you're a righteous person, right, you'll probably use it for things that are a bit more helpful. So it's all very contextual. Like, what are you using it for, and how are you using it? And I would also like to know how did you hear, no, when and how did you hear about blacks in cybersecurity, and how has your journey been with us so far? Because I heard about it probably the end of last year, and I joined for the cohort that happened this year. It's 2025, so the cohort that happened in the first half of the year, I was here for that. But how has your journey been, and how did you hear about it?
My journey's been great so far. I think I kind of found out, maybe, I want to say it was around COVID time, maybe right after.
Wow.
I'm an avid researcher. I believe in not only being in the now, but planning for the future. So I'm always looking
Mm,
up other organizations, other companies, other people who are doing what I'm doing, my, like my peers.
mm,
And I found it on LinkedIn one day, and
okay.
I just, just started following. I believe I saw a couple of videos on YouTube too, just
Sweet,
speaking about tech and helping people get into tech.
sweet.
And it was just, something I just been kind of watching over the year bloom. Like,
Wow,
it's grown so much over the years, and then I actually decided to get involved and volunteer as a mentor for this last cohort,
wow.
and it was a great opportunity. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited for the next one. Like this one, I'll possibly be a mentor because I had like mentor experience in the last organization I was with. I wasn't able to, but hopefully the next cohort I could be a mentor with them. And it's I'm very excited as well because I'm excited to see more of our people just in the space in general, right? Because I feel like there's so much more like to be done. Even with this like podcast, I was telling James, I'm like, yo, James, we got to be on this because our people got to see us, man. Like our people got to see us being in cyber, doing great things. Like it's important to see our people and share this knowledge because me and you talking. We have a kind of similar. We kind of know a couple of similar things, organizations, people, like just general stuff, right? But there's people who really do not know, like who really even out this technology in general. They just never. And I feel like I use this quote a lot. Uh, a drop to us may be a gallon to someone else, right? So for us,
Yeah.
it might be a very simple, like, oh yeah, receiving our tech, da, da, da. It might be easy to us because we've been in it for a while, right? But this stuff, there's people who are just coming into this who are like, they don't know where to go, they don't know what to do, they don't know, like they're like in loss, right? And I wanted to ask you, so for someone just now getting into cybersecurity in 2025, right? And they want to get a role like that. Like they're trying to get money like tomorrow, right? What
Mm,
would you recommend from your like understanding is like the quickest route?
network. If you want to get in the door tomorrow, just sitting by and applying to jobs in this market is not going to cut it. You should go to a conference,
Agreed.
find, people who are doing what you're doing, speak to them, see what they're doing, how to get where they are, what they did to get where they are,
Mm,
and let them know that you're interested in a role. Let them know what that you're interested in. Also, bring to the conversation what you've done to prepare yourself for that role,
mm,
how you're a good fit for that role. But
mm,
networking, top hands down, the number one thing. And then also research and figure out what you want, figure out what you like. A lot of people don't like coding. A lot of people.
yeah, yeah,
So if you don't like coding, development may not be something for you. You may not
right,
want to be a software engineer. So
right.
it wouldn't make sense to chase after that title just because you see it makes good money.
Right,
Maybe
right, right.
something else. Do you like penetration testing, like ethical hacking, or do you like more of data? Do you want to be a data scientist or data analyst? You have
Mm,
to research what these
mm,
different jobs do on a day to day, and
mm.
then get on LinkedIn and talk to people
Get
or
on
go
it.
to conferences and
Yeah.
talk. Ask them what they're doing and see if that's something that you like, and
Mm,
that'll help you to choose your path. And
mm,
it's another thing is like there's no right or wrong way. There's no one size fits all for everyone. Everyone
agree.
has a different path. Some
Agree.
people it happens tomorrow, some people it's next week, some people it's a couple months from now. You just really have to be patient with your journey and be consistent.
Right.
And expect failure. I said this the other day on a podcast. You're going to fail, but don't let that failure stop you from getting into tech. Don't run away when it gets hard. When you're failing, it's like your breaking point when you're about to break through.
Mm. That is like powerful because the like networking is hugely important. The networking is hugely important, and I've seen it in my journey because majority of the pretty even the role I have now is from like networking. I did not apply. I did not just like apply just like randomly because the cold calling, the cold applying is like it's rough, bro. Because these ATS systems, like these tracking systems, if you don't have this, it just wipe you. In the AI, because people are like AI spamming jobs now. Plus, there's ghost jobs as well, bro. It's like it's a
Mhm.
lot. It's a
Right.
lot going on. But going to conferences, shaking someone's hand, hey, how are you? Who are you? What are you up to? Like, here's what I'm doing. I'm trying to do this, and just going out there, like really hitting the pavement, hit the pavement. Because I used to do like door to door sales, right? And I feel like my sales experience kind of helped me just like my people skills more. I remember when I was at there's so much beautiful stories I'm gonna share in the future. But I remember when I was in Florida, I first came to Florida in 2023. I was like hitting the pavement. I was going to all these different hackathons. I didn't know because I was just trying to find something. If it was tech related, I was trying to be there. I didn't care what they were talking about, and I was trying to be there. But just like network as much as you can, physically and online, right? But also balance it as well because I realize there's certain people. There's a lot, especially in Miami, bro. There's literally events every single day, like literally, like
Oh my
it's
God.
all the time, right? But it's important to network, right, and be very upfront. Like, here's what I'm doing, here's where I'm going, right? That's important. But also spend time to actually study, right? Because the socializing is beautiful, but I feel like you have to balance it with the studying. Because there was a point I was going to so much events, but my resume was empty, right? And then there was a point when I was studying so much, my resume was getting better, but I wasn't speaking to nobody, right? So it's like a little dance, a little tug and war. So that's
Yes.
definitely super super important. And like LinkedIn as well, because I love LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is like if I could work for LinkedIn, I would. Like honestly, I love LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn has changed my life and opened up so many doors. But I definitely agree with all of that. And I want to hear do you have any because we're about in like about 7 minutes. But I wanted to hear if you have any future projects or like your Instagram, your YouTube, GitHub, your business, like whatever. Like this, like what are you up to? Like what is in your world and where do you focus on now? Both for yourself or even at Palo. Like what is your current like things you are focused on?
Yeah. So personally, as I mentioned, I am working on something, really building a resource where people who are coming into tech, they have everyone has the same questions. How do I get in? Where do I start? What job should I do? All those kind of questions,
Mm,
or what certification should I get? I'm
mm,
really trying to create a resource where they can find all those answers to those questions,
mm,
and then really hone in into the Linux. I saw that there was such a barrier to entry because the training for the RHCSA is insane.
really?
It's insane, yeah. If
Mm,
you look at the training at different boot camps or different
mm,
local institutes in your area, it's insane. So I thought
mm,
a good way to give back would be to maybe teach Linux, and so that's something that I've been
mm.
putting together in the background.
Sweet.
It's been super time consuming,
Mm,
and I've been trying to balance that as well with my day job. So
right.
That's something I'm working on. As far as professional profiles, I feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. But I don't have my website will be done soon. It's not quite ready yet for reviews.
Mm. Yeah, that's definitely beautiful, and I definitely select Portugal on all of that. And I know James, he will kind of like help us put all of the stuff in the description of this video, so people could just reach out to you. I wanted to ask you a quick question. So I've seen that a lot of people are speaking about the RHCSA because, of course, Red Hat is super dominant in the server and even the government side as well. They're super dominant, but there's other Linux certifications that people don't speak about as much, like the LPIC and like the other
Yeah.
ones. So
Yes.
have you seen value in those as well? Because I'm gonna get all of them. I'm gonna just get all of them
Really?
just so. Yes, I'm gonna get all of them because I like actually like love Linux. I'm gonna get all of them to actually experience it. Because I feel like a lot of people when they speak about things, they haven't experienced, right? So like, oh, don't go to that. That's dumb. Don't go to this boot camp or this college.
Exactly.
It's like useless. I'm like, have you done it? Have you known anyone who has done it? Like, if you haven't done
Exactly.
it, like, of course, your opinion is cool, but I'd rather speak to someone who's actually done it. And if I'm
Done
going
it.
to be a Linux like system admin, I want to speak about it from all sides because majority of my Linux journey was alone in my room. But I'm like, oh, there's corporate. Like, even though I was watching this Red Hat documentary like earlier, like they're literally or the New York Stock Exchange, and I'm like, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know like Linux was this big. I didn't know. So now I'm very excited. But have you heard of people getting the other Linux certs, or is that like a thing, or like no?
I have. They're a little less common, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that they're totally worthless. I would
Okay.
say that if you, because the RHCSA is so expensive,
Right.
if someone preferred to do the Linux Plus from CompTIA, for
Right.
example, that's still very helpful. I see that people are still able to land roles with that. And then even the LPIC, same for that one. I
Mm.
think it really just depends on how you position your resume and how you present yourself in the interview. If you can walk the walk and talk the talk, when they ask those questions, do you understand how Linux is applied in those situations?
Mm.
Ultimately, the Linux across all the certifications is the same. You're learning the same thing, but
Yeah,
with
pretty
Red
much.
Hat
Yeah.
is specific to Red Hat. But yeah, I wouldn't say that they're worthless. I definitely
Okay.
wouldn't say that they're worthless. It's definitely a cheaper route than going the Red Hat route right off the bat.
Right.
And you hit on something else too about Linux being with the stock exchange. That was another reason that made me want to like bring more light to it and teach it. Like people are
Yeah.
so afraid of it. So I'm like, no, I need y'all to come on because
Mm.
it applies to everything: software development, cloud, like you said, the stock market,
Yeah.
our phones, our iPads, our TVs, everything we have is on Linux.
Yeah.
Everybody needs Linux. All industries need Linux.
Yeah.
I forgot the percentage that I saw, but it was some crazy percentage of
At least like
computers.
70.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
At
that's
least
what I
70. Yeah.
said. That, yeah.
Super dominant. Yeah, especially on the server side. And it's on the New York Stock Exchange probably in two ways because I was watching the Red Hat documentary where Red Hat Enterprise Linux got on the New York Stock Exchange as like their ticker symbol. But also even the servers running the little like numbers, I wouldn't be surprised if they're running Linux as well.
Oh
So
yes, that's what I thought you were talking about. Yeah, they
yeah.
that
So
they
in both ways.
mhm,
Yeah. No, that is
yeah.
definitely super beautiful. And yeah, I'm gonna get all of those certs, and we're definitely gonna build more a lot on that. Oh, last thing I wanted to speak about. Um, it's okay if you don't know everything generally, because I started in tech, wanted to be a front end web dev, then I wanted to be a Ethereum engineer for the blockchain. Then I
Yes.
wanted to be a penetration tester and ethical hacking, and I still do love the whole penetration testing, ethical hacking. But I'm realizing with a Linux system admin, it forces you because I need a job that I'm solely in the command line interface. I don't want to ever go back to a mouse or a GUI ever, right? I just want to be in my terminal, leave me alone, let me do my stuff, and that's my goal. But we have a minute left. Yeah, please share your your social media or like anything you like the people to know.
Yes, feel free to link up with me on LinkedIn. I always enjoy helping people get into tech, or if you have any questions, sometimes you just have that burning question that you need help with to get you to that next level. Feel free to reach out and ask me. I'm more than happy to help.
All right, cool. I definitely appreciate your time and energy. I know that this will help a ton of people, and thank you. And we'll see you all next time. All right,
Thank you
peace.
for having me.